Hare Krishna, thank you very much for joining our online reading session of the book, The Mood and Oh Krishna, habituate. Hare Krishna, thank you very much for joining our online reading session of the book Śrī Bhaktyāloka by Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākura. So we finished two topics. Second topic is going on, Prayasa, in which we are reading from here. So we have gone through Prayasa of understanding Jnana Prayasa, wherein Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives Bhagavatam, quotes from Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th chapter, 3rd verse from Brahma's prayers. And again, he makes it more clear by giving the example from Brahma's prayers itself. So we have read yesterday how philosophy of monism does not originate in absolute truth. It is only a demonic provision. So we are reading today. We are further continuing the topic prayasa, over endeavoring. The knowledge given, okay. Glorification of knowledge of one's relationship with the Lord is often heard. That knowledge is pure and spontaneous. There is no need of prayasa. The knowledge given in Chaturshloki, the four main Bhagavatam verses, is Achintya Bheda Bheda, inconceivably, simultaneously one and different. This knowledge is naturally dormant in the heart of living entity. The Lord is like the spiritual sun, and the living entities are like molecular particles of the sun's rays. The living entity cannot remain in his constitutional form without being subordinate to the Lord. Therefore, servitorship of the Lord is his constitutional duty. Okay. Okay. So first of all, here the first line says is that mm, the knowledge given in Chaturshloki Bhagavatam is Achintya Bheda Bheda. So first of all, we should know what is Chaturshloki. So does anybody know what is Chaturshloki Bhagavatam? What are the verses which pertain to the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam? Yeah, anybody can answer? Hare Krishna. Can anybody hear me? What's going on?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear.
Yeah, we can all hear, but what I'm asking is, what is Chaturshloki Bhagavatam? That's what we want. What is Chaturshloki Bhagavatam? It is said here, the four main Bhagavatam verses. What are the four main Bhagavatam verses? If you know these verses, then you know Bhagavatam, you know Achinta Veda, Veda Tattva. If you don't know, then there is a big question mark. And they should know what is Bhagavatam. If somebody asks you what are the four main verses of Bhagavatam, what you can say? Hare Krishna. Okay, I have to pick up devotees and ask. Mm, Anupam Ghosh, Hare Krishna. Can you hear me? I don't know. Prabhuji has come and he's not speaking. Maybe he's not in the call, I think. Okay. Apurva Anand. I mean, Asita Prabhu. Do you know what are the four verses of Bhagavatam? Which are main verses called Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. What are those?
Actually, Krishna says that whatever is seeing, which is not whatever you see is not with me, is all Maya.
Mhm.
Like
No, what
that.
are the four verses? That is what I'm asking. What are the four verses which state what is that? Where, which chapter, which canto, which Bhagavatam, where it is mentioned? What are the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita
Bhagavatam, second
verses?
chapter.
Bhagavatam second canto. Ram Prabhu said. Great. So what are the verses?
Chapter 9.
Oh, oh you're such sweet. Okay, then what are the verses?
I can do English, I can do the Sanskrit.
Yeah. So in second chapter,
But
second
see for the bodies
canto,
now.
ninth chapter in from 33rd verse, 33, 34, 35, 36. These are the four verses called Chatushloki Bhagavatam. So I can. So what are the cantos? So this is called as Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Okay. So it is second canto, ninth chapter, 33rd verse to 36 verse are considered as the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. But before 33 verse, there are three other verses which tell about the which establish the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, or the preclude, or to say that they are the beginning verses to establish the Chatushloki Bhagavatam. So it actually starts from 31, two verses uh, from Bhagavatam. These are all spoken by the Lord, of course. Mm. So it starts with 31, 33 to 36. Bhagavatam, second canto. I can write in the chat board. Is that it is Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.33 to 36 is Chatushloki Bhagavatam. But the preclude, or to say the pre-verses before Bhagavatam, which established a Chatushloki Bhagavatam, is also considered as, comes under Chatushloki, because there Bhagavan, or the Supreme Lord, establishes that knowledge about him is confidential. Just like there are three kinds of knowledge as per Bhagavad Gita: Guhya, Guhyatara, and Guhyatama. What are they? Guhya, Guhyatara, and Guhyatama, as per
Bhuyataram.
Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, Guhyataram. Guhyataram. Yeah, Guhyataram. What is Guhya? Does anybody know what is Guhya, Guhyatara, and Guhyatama? Knowledge.
Confidential, more confidential, most confidential.
Okay, what is that? What is confidential knowledge?
Knowledge of the soul.
Silent. Confidential knowledge is about the soul, right? Then more confidential knowledge is about
Is
we are
about
all lacking.
the absolute truth.
No, absolute truth is anything. You can tell anything because you have read so much, so you tell so many things. But specifically, what is that? We are all lacking in basics. I'm very sorry for that. Vihya knowledge is the soul, knowledge of the soul. We are not this soul. We are not the body. We are spirit soul. Mamevamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. That actually knowledge is about the soul. Apareyam itastvanyam prakritam viddhime param. Jiva bhuta mahabhagam. Yedam dharite jagat. That is the more confidential knowledge. Okay, what is guhyatara? What is guhyatara? Guhyatara, guhyatama. Guhyatara means more confidential knowledge. More confidential knowledge is about the super soul, Paramatma. The knowledge of Paramatma is the super soul. Is the more confidential knowledge. And the most confidential knowledge is to understand that the absolute truth is a person, that is Krishna. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma sucha. That is the most confidential knowledge. So, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that the most confidential knowledge is surrender unto his lotus feet. The same way, the Bhagavatam starts with the knowledge of him. He says that Śrī Bhagavan Vacha 2.9.31. If you want, you can refer to 2.9.31. Jnanam parama guhyam me yad jnanam yad vijnana samanvitam sarhasyam tadangancha grahana gatitam maya. The word here everybody should understand is sarhasyam tadangamcha. Sarhasyam means what? The most confidential knowledge. Sarhasyam. Guhyam. These are the words used in this verse. Sarasam, with devotional service. Knowledge about me is described in the scriptures is very confident. It has to be realized in conjunction with devotions. That means devotional service and the knowledge of the Lord are intertwined with each other. That we should understand very clearly from this verse. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it carefully. This is the prelude to the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. This is the first prelude. That means to understand that actually Brahma asks many questions. There are 5 questions which are being answered in these Chaturshloki Bhagavatam. What are the forms of the Lord? What are the different energies of the Lord? How does Lord play with the different energies? How Brahma has to be instructed? These are all this one. But the prelude to this discussion will start from this verse called 2.9.31. Okay. So he asks about the absolute. Then the next verse, 2.9.32, Yavanaham yathabhav yadrupa guna karma kaha tateva tattva vijnanam astute madanugrahat. All of me, namely my actual eternal form and my transcendental existence, color, qualities, and activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. So second is to understand how to invoke that causeless mercy within our heart. So this Krishna says, all of me, my actual eternal form. So the knowledge of the Lord starts with knowledge of the Lord, knowledge of the eternal form of the Lord, Nama Rupa Guna Leela, everything, Nama Rupa Guna Leela. And to understand these things, we can understand through Lord's mercy. Prabhupada gives an interesting purport in this particular verse, is that he writes this particular thing. The secret of success in understanding the intricacies of the knowledge of the absolute truth, personal of God, is the causeless mercy of the Lord. So this is the secret of the success. This is the causeless mercy. This is the secret of the success, the intricate knowledge of the absolute truth. Yeah, Prabhupada, even in the material world, the father of many sons discloses the secret of his position to his pet sons. The father discloses the confidence unto the son whom he thinks worthy. An important man in the social order can be known by his mercy only. Similarly, one must be very dear to the Lord in order to be known, in order to know the Lord. So this is more important. So we have to become dear to the Lord. Then only Lord's name, form, his eternal existence, color, qualities, activities, everything can be understood. Otherwise, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavrita. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that I am not exposed to everyone. I am concealed by to the faithless by the Yogamaya potency. It is not so easy to understand. So one who has utmost Shreyas, what is that? Shraddha Shabde. What is the verse? What is said? Shraddha Shabde.
विश्वास कहे सुदृढ़ निश्चय
Shraddha Shabde Sudrida Kore Nischay. Sudrida Nischay Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. This verse is the title of the verse. Shraddha Shabde
विश्वास कहे सुदृढ़ निश्चय
Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Kohi Sudrida Nischay. Vishwasa. That's why the main important point is the Shraddha. Shraddha Shabde Sudrida Nischay. Vishwasa kahe Sudrida Nischay. Krishna Bhakti kaile Sarva Karma Krita ho. Krishna Arthe Akila Cheshta. Whatever activities we do, it is for Krishna. We have faith in that. So that is the demand in these verses. So these two verses. So otherwise Krishna will not be revealed. So when one understands these two verses, then Chaturshloki starts. How he starts? He starts with Aham evasam evade nanyat satasat param paschadaham yatetacha yovashishyeta sosimaham. That understand that, oh Brahma, it is I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation when there was nothing but myself. Now was there the material energy, the cause of creation, that which you see now also I, the personality of Godhead, and also after annihilation, what I remains, also be I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we should understand that it is the Supreme Lord. We should understand very carefully. Here, the Supreme Lord addressing is emphasizing the point that before the creation he was existing. It is not that he is part of the creation. Creation means our body is created, but the Lord is not created.
It is to
So,
be.
sorry?
I'm saying like this, yeah, and after understanding, like one has to relish also by these things.
Relishing will understand that relishing will come only when one practices. Without practice, one cannot relish. So one has to understand, one has to follow. Even if one doesn't understand, one has to follow, and over a period of time, because of his sincere following, one will relish. Because of the point of relishing, you can't, you can't wait for the following. So first is we follow, we realize. By following, we realize, and by realization, you relish. So by following, we relish. Oh, we don't relish. I don't get any happiness by serving. That doesn't mean that we don't serve. We have to serve, and over a period of time, by slowly, because our heart is filled with impurities. So we may not be able to understand what is what. So first we have Shraddha, that Komal Shraddha turned into Shastra Yukta Shraddha, and that is turned it into Bhakti Yukta Shraddha. So there is Komal Shraddha, initial stage of Shraddha, and it turns into Shastra Yukta Shraddha. Understanding the Shastra is the basis, and understanding, and when we practice, then devotional service, then it is bolstered by the Bhakti Yukta Shraddha, Bhakti Shakti. So all these three becomes very, very strong. Then Sadhu Sangha, then by the Sadhu Sangha and all those things, we understand. Got it?
Yes, bro.
So the thing is, in this verse, actually Prabhupada writes very clearly in this particular verse. Here he writes, yes, very right, yes. The impersonalist puts forth the theory of oneness in the sense of Brahma also being the same principle of I, because he is an emanation from the I, the absolute truth. He is identical with the Lord, the principle of I, and there is thus nothing more principle than the I, as explained in this verse. So uh, here, as Krishna says in Bhagavatam in this verse, that it is I, the personality of God, who is existing before creation. That means here, after the annihilation, what remains will be the I, the personality of God. And Prabhupada gives clear definition between difference between two I's. That is, there are two I's in this particular Brahma. Brahma is one I, and another one is the personality of Godhead. So here Prabhupada gives the difference between two eyes. So Achintya Veda Tattva works here. And from here, the Achintya Veda principle is explained from this verse. There are two eyes. One is the Jiva and another one is the Supreme Lord. One is the Nitya and another is Nityanam. That there are plural Nitya. Prabhupada says in one lecture, Prabhupada says there is one Nitya and another one is the plural Nitya. singular nitya and the plural nitya. Nitya, nityo, nityanam, chetanas, chetananam. One is one chetana, and this chetananam, many people, many chetanas. Eko jo bahunam. But what is the difference between that eka nitya and bahunitya and the eka chetana and bahu chetana? Is that eko bahunam yo vidadhati kama. All these bahunam, all these plurals demands are being satisfied or maintained by the other nitya. Oh Krishna, my computer is going to get shut down now. What can it do? Okay. So nitya nityanam chetanas chetananam eko jo bahunam yo vididhatikam. So we should understand we are created. We are created doesn't mean our soul is created. We are part and parcel. So in that way our bodies are created in this world. So we are one with the Lord as Anu Atma. As we do, we are different. Anu Atma. As Anu Atma, we are one. As quality, we are one. As quantity, we are different. And the Lord has inconceivable potency. So this is inconceivably one and different. Yeah, Prabhupada writes. Yes, the same. The creator I and the created I are both accepted in the Vedas as qualitatively one because both of them are nityas and chetanas. But the singular I is the creator. I and the created eyes are the plural number because there are many eyes like Brahma and thus those generated by Brahma. It is simple truth. The father creates or begets a son, and the son also creates many other sons. All of them may be one as human beings, but at the same time, from the father, the son, and the grandsons are all different. The son cannot take the place of the father, nor can their grandsons. Similarly, the father, the son, and the grandson are one and different also. As human beings, they are one, but as relativities, they are different. Thus, the relativities of creator and created, or the predominator and predominated, have been differentiated in the Vedas by saying the predominator I is the feeder of the predominated eyes, and thus there is a vast difference between the two principles of eyes. So we should understand there are two principles here. One is the creator, the predominator and predominated, the enjoyer and the enjoyed, and the what is that controller and controlled. So we should understand this. So the Supreme Lord is controller. We are controlled. Supreme Lord is predominator. We are predominated. So our constitutional position is Jivera Swarupoi Nityera Krishnera Nityadas. So this is Achintya Veda Tattva which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu propagated. What Keval Advaitavadi says, we are one with the Lord. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted that. What Madhvacharya said, we are different. That also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted. Lord is inconceivably different. No, he is Vishishta. So that also he accepted. So he is inconceivable potency. That also. So he that is there in the Shastras. So Achintya Veda Tattva. Everything is there. So we will read further.
So
So the
here,
living entity cannot remain in constitutional position without. Yeah.
so here, but the singular I is the creator I and the created eyes. So the created eyes is in the form of the bodily creation, right? Not the soul creation.
Obviously,
Yes,
even if you say that the souls are created, doesn't mean that soul is created. It is a point that it is explained that we are part and parcel, as the example gives in this particular, as Bhaktivinoda Ṭ𝚑ā𝚔𝚞 says here. See, is that the Lord is like the spiritual sun, and the living entities are like the molecular particles of the sun's rays. So when the sun rises, that means the sun's rays are non-different from the sun, but doesn't mean the sun rays are sun itself. So in that way, the origin of the sun rays is the sun. So in that way, we can say they are created. Doesn't mean that they are created like the body. So, but the soul is not created. The bodies are created. But we can say that this body is created. There is nothing wrong in saying like that. No need to tell every time the soul, because we are created. We are part and parcel of Krishna. So Brahmaji is created. Although Brahmaji's body is full of, you know what is Brahma? Our body is full of earth, water, fire, air, ether, and predominantly with earth. What is Brahmaji's body predominantly made from?
Intelligence.
Does anybody know? Sorry?
Intelligence.
Sorry? Intelligence, you see. See, he is having great intelligence. Oh. So Brahmaji's body is made up of intelligence. Still it is made by the Supreme Lord. So the thing is, in that way, Prabhupada is writing. He need not again and again tell that Brahma is created. So in that way, the bodies are created, but the demands, or whatever demands jivas have, that is being satisfied by the Supreme Lord. So in that way, we are different. So the living entity, here it is said, Bhaktivinoda Ṭ𝚑ā𝚔 is writing, the living entity cannot remain in his constitutional form without being subordinate to the Lord. And therefore, servitorship to the Lord is his constitutional duty. Cultivation of this constitutional duty is the nature of the living entity. Jivera Swarupa. This is the nature. And when one jiva goes against the nature, when one does everything in this material world, then that means he is doing against his nature, then it cannot be happy. Then that is called prayasa. So the jiva need not do anything. The jiva has to understand that he is constitutionally part and parcel of the Lord, and he has to serve Lord. That's all, as simple as that. But why he does prayasa? Because he wants to enjoy in this material world without serving the Supreme Lord, without being in his constitutional position. So that's why he has to do prayasa. So this is spontaneous, devoid of prayasa, dharma, or duty of the living entity. What is that dharma? Dharma means intrinsic quality or eternal occupational duty, as we say. Sanatana dharma. Sanatana means, that is it. That is this. Mamevamsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana. There is a verse is also there. What is that? I forgot that verse. So, Mamevamsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana. So, as we are part and parcel of the Lord, our duties, our eternal occupational or intrinsic eternal occupation is to serve the Lord. Then that is devoid of prayasa. Other than that, anything is prayasa. So that is our dharma. That is Jaiva Dharma. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur's another book is called Jaiva Dharma. Jaiva Dharma means the eternal occupational duty of the Lord. Okay. Although it is a conditioned state, this dharma is also dormant and is awakened by sadhana or spiritual practice. Still, the prayasa found in devotional practices is not like that found in the paths of karma and jnana. You see, actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is very good. If one takes shelter of the holy name with some respect, then within a short time, the obstacles due to ignorance are removed and one's constitutional happiness is reawakened. But when gives a place to jnana prayasa, then he has to suffer more and more. If jnana prayasa is renounced in the association of devotees, then that is devotional endeavor. So now the whole thing, Bhaktivinoda Thakur fully explains about the reality of what it comes to, how to list that. What is that? How to get that fire outside. Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti Sadhya Kabunoi Shravanadi Suddha Chitte Kariyude. How to awaken Krishna consciousness. So this whole paragraph, this 4, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 lines, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains how to awaken the devotional service. How to awaken that. When Jiva understands or accepts this particular activity through sadhana, through spiritual practice. Actually, when people come to Krishna consciousness, devotees are very merciful. You know, they they immediately engage the jiva in devotional service. Like, for example, when people come to us and then they say hi, hello. Like, for example, here many Westerners, we get we meet many Westerners. Uh, okay, leave about Indians, but I'm saying here Westerners are coming, and immediately we say Hare Krishna to them. They may say hi to us, but immediately we say Hare Krishna. So his spiritual practice is started through hearing. So he's hearing, and when he hears, what he will get first, he will get the book. He will get, he'll speak. Oh, he'll speak, and his inclination, he's inclined with somehow, because of the millions of lifetimes of some sukruti he has. He, by the mercy of Krishna, somehow he meets devotees, and devotees are merciful, and they what they do, they chant Hare Krishna, and they hears it big, and he may not understand anything of Hare Krishna. So he holds the books, he takes the dust of the books, he tries to read them, he tries to understand them. He may not understand anything, just he comes to the temple. He may associate with devotees, he takes prasadam, and next day he just begins with chanting. Just on the day before yesterday, Ram and myself, on Sunday, we met one lady. She came to the temple. She immediately came to the mango festival here we had. She came and immediately took so many mangoes. And the next day again she came. And again she came, and then she got prasadam. That day she got prasadam. She's a black lady, black American lady. She came, she took some books, and then she came to the program. She participated. She took prasadam, and then next day again she came. She took the beads. I gave her the beads and told her to chant. And then now she is chanting. So immediately the practice, she is entered into the spiritual practice. Now she's connected to one of our god sister. She's chanting. She's going to read. If she continues, if she has that faith, and yes, if she, even she doesn't have faith, our devotees keep on giving her association, then what will happen? Slowly, slowly, the prayasa, whatever the karma prayasa or jnana prayasa or yoga prayasa or whatever it is, even if there is no karma jnana, even being in this world itself is a big prayasa. uh, that she will slowly give up. And slowly, if she or he, whatever it is, whoever it may be, slowly. We also underwent all these things. Like before coming to Krishna consciousness, we were also pushed by devotees. We were also molded by devotees. We were also given beads. We were also given books. We were also given prasadam. We were also given opportunity to chant, opportunity to read, opportunity to participate in the programs. So these all slowly made us understand what actually Krishna consciousness is all about. So slowly, we were in the periphery of some spirituality, so-called, and then we entered into the periphery. We entered into the bhakti marga. We entered into Krishna consciousness. We entered into the world of ISKCON. We entered into the world of Hare Krishna. We met so many devotees, exchanged uh, knowledge with them, heard from them, heard from devotees, heard from many senior devotees, heard from many sannyasis, understood the process, and then we became committed. We wanted to take initiation. We took initiation. We vowed to chant Hare Krishna 16 rounds. We vowed to follow the four regulative principles. And then slowly, we are coming up. So this is what now we are reading Acharya's books. So we want to understand more and more Prabhupada's books, different angles. So these are the, so now the endeavor in this material world, which is the jnana or karma or yoga prayasa, turned into bhakti prayasa. When it becomes into a bhakti prayasa, then this is not a problem, because prayasa is always there. Like, for example, Yashodama is not having anxiety. Yashodama is also having anxiety, but the anxiety of Trump and the anxiety of like, for example, Bhaktivinoda
Musk.
Maharaj or any of the sannyasis. Hare Krishna.
I was saying Elon Musk.
Whoever it is, that the prayasa of this world is not the same as prayasa of what devotees are doing it. It's not the same. They are going to hell for doing that prayasa. We are going to Krishna. We are going to the spiritual world. We are going back home, back to Godhead. We are going near to Krishna. We are getting Krishna's mercy. We are getting more and more mercy. we are becoming dear to Krishna. We are trying to become dear to Krishna. Of course. So we are trying to develop love for Krishna. We are trying to give that knowledge to Krishna. So every day it is a demanding service. That's why Krishna consciousness is very demanding. It's demanding because it's practical, it's ecstatic, it's everyday affair. If one book you give, that doesn't mean the next book you have to surrender. No, every book we give, we have to surrender to Krishna. We have to pray to Krishna. We have to become more dear to Krishna. So the more we give, the more we become dear to Krishna. The more we associate, the more our anarthas will go. The more we hear, the more we understand that we are servant of the servant of the servant. So in that way, our endeavors turn into devotional endeavors. So here, Prabhupada Bhaktivinoda Ṭhākūr says, if one takes shelter of the holy name with some respect, little respect in the initial stage, if they give little respect, then within a short time, the obstacles due to see, we can see ourselves, we can see our devotees, we can see those who are Americans, those who are devotees all over the world. They come, their speech changes. They used to use the F word, they used to use the so many slang words, and all. Now they're not using it. Why? Because they became sadhu bhasha. They became the devotional language. They became whatever they speak. It becomes katha ganam natyam gamanam api vamshi prayasaki. As in the spiritual world, they don't speak, they sing. They don't walk, they dance. So like the devotees, when they walk, they just like dancing. Devotees, when they speak, it is not speaking, they are singing for the Lord. That's what we said to the people, Bhagavad Gita, the song of God. It's the singing of the God. Huh? I don't know what was the voice of Krishna. So Krishna's voice would be very, very beautiful. It is said when Bhagavad Gita was spoken, many devotees could hear from all the three worlds who are residing in many worlds. When Krishna told specifically the verse Sarva Dharman Parityajya, all the devotees of the three worlds could hear. Many devotees were sitting in many places. He proclaimed. Actually, it's a proclamation. As some of the acharyas, they say that this, when Krishna came to this particular, he was at his pitch of his voice. He was proclamation. Proclamation means in the villages and all, if somebody has to be told, something has to be told, they bring various drums and then they shout and then they proclaim. That is called as proclamation. So like that, they beat the drums and then they tell everybody. So like that, Krishna spoke in his pitch of his voice, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Aham Tvam Sarva Papibhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchim. So if they have this particular respect, within a short time, the obstacles due to ignorance are removed and one's constitutional happiness is reawakened. But if one gives a place to Jnana Prayasa, then he has to suffer more. And if Jnana Prayasa is renounced, so Jnana Prayasa cannot be removed without the association of devotees. Full stop. Period. If one wants to remove Jnana Prayasa, if one wants to remove Jnana Prayasa or Karma Prayasa or Yoga Prayasa or any prayasa of this material world, then one has to associate with. Without association of devotees, one cannot. What is that? As Bhaktivinoda, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, what is that? What is that? Bhajan karo sadh. No. What is that? Bhakta sange karo sankirtan. What is that? What is that? Karo sankirtan.
Krishna Nam Upadeshi Tar Sarvajan.
No. What is that? Bhakta sange karo sankirtan. Oh, I'm forward. नाचो गाओ भक्त संगे करो नाचो गाओ भक्त संगे करो संकीर्तन कृष्ण नाम उपदेशी तारा सर्व.
Yes.
Yeah, Krishna Nam Upadeshi, I know, but the first verse, first line I forgot. So, Nacho Gao Bhakta Sange Karo Sankirtan Krishna Nam Upadeshi Tara Sarvajan. My dear child, continue. This is by Ishwarapuri. It is by Ishwarapuri to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, my dear child, continue dancing, chanting, and performing Sankirtan association. Furthermore, go on and preach the value of Sankirtan Krishna. By this path, you will be able to deliver all fallen souls. That's all. So Nacho Gao, this is our motto. This should be our emblem. Nacho, Gao, Bhakta Sanghe. These three are required. Karo, Sankirtan. So what is meant by Sankirtan? Samyak dadati iti kirtanam. Bahuve militva iti kirtanam Sankiti Sankirtanam. Bahuve militva. That means by congregating oneself. What we trying to preach? We are not trying to preach anything. We can't preach anything. We are ourselves in a very precarious condition in our life. We can't do anything. What we are trying to do, we are repeating what we heard. We are repeating again and again and again and again. We are repeating. We are repeating. What we are repeating? What is that? Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Amar agya guru hoya taro edesh. Whomever we meet, wherever we go, whomever we meet, we speak about Krishna. We speak about Krishna. We can't speak about Krishna unless Krishna allows us our speech, vocal cords and all this. These cannot help unless Paramatma gives us the sanction. Yes, you speak, then we can speak. And the Paramatma within our heart will inspire us to speak. And the Paramatma within the person's heart, if he is sincere, accepting, then he will also inspire him to accept Krishna consciousness. So the Paramatma within our heart is inspiring the Paramatma within the Jiva's heart. This is called Sankirtan. We can't do anything. As a Jiva, we are limited. As a Jiva, we are constrained. We are conditioned. So what we can do is that what the simple thing is that we have the desire to engage in Krishna's service. So by that desire, we can invoke the Krishna. We are trying to invoke the invoke the sleeping dormant soul within the heart. That soul we cannot invoke because we can see so many people we hear, they don't even turn to us to speak. Like for example, in book distribution, when we go, people we say Hare Krishna, hello, even they don't see us as if we are not present there. So that soul has thought that we will not at all respond. They have so many things, the judgmental, they will think that, oh, these people, oh, what is this? They may have so many things, but some people they say hi, hello, and they say, oh, what you're having? Some people respond a little bit, some people respond more, some people become more sincere. So we don't know who are the ripened fruits, who are the unripened fruits, who are what, who are in what stage. We have to meet everybody. Hardly they will say no, or they may not see you. That's all. So we have to touch each and every soul so that we can give some Krishna consciousness connection. Okay. To bolster this, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the verses from Bhagavad Gita, the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, from 2 to 5. Manya mano evam nitya yukta upasate shraddhaya parayopetas te me yukta tamo mataha yetvaksharamanirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintyam cha tutastam machalam dhruvam sanniyam yendriyagramam sarvatra samabuddhayah te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhutahite rataah क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्ता सत्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ताय गतिर्दुःखम् देहवद्भिर्वाप्यते. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form are always engaged in worshipping me, and with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, immobile, the impersonal concept or conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Like here, if you see this particular verse, which Bhaktivinoda Thakur quotes from 12 chapter, 2nd verse to 5th verse. Maya Veshamam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds. How this verse came into picture, how this was raised, why Krishna spoke this particular thing in the 12th chapter. Because, not in the 12th chapter, because the chapters are divided by Shankaracharya. This is the first chapter, this is the second chapter. Like that, he divided the chapters. But actually, if you read Bhagavad Gita if you read from, what is that, from Mahabharata, you will not know which sloka from which sloka to which sloka is the 12th chapter. No, that Shankaracharya divided the chapter into Bhakti Yoga. This is from Bhakti Yoga. This chapter from this chapter is this yoga, this yoga. Like that, he divided the chapters and named the chapters, and he gave the links, everything he gave. But before that, it is not there or not. I don't know what is what, but I heard like that. Shankaracharya made into the chapters. Hmm. So the point is that here Krishna spoke this particular confidential knowledge about bhakti, because in the 12th chapter, first verse, Arjuna asks, it all comes with one question. Arjuna asks one question. You know what is the question? Arjuna watch. Evam satata yuktaya bhaktat svam paryupasate is asked about the upasana. Echapyaksharam avyaktam teshanki yoga vittama. Arjuna asked the question. He says, which are considered to be the more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? So this 12th chapter, why it is called Bhakti Yoga? Because this chapter begins with Arjuna's question as to asking what is it perfect? Is it devotional service directly onto you is perfect, or worshipping the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested, that is perfect? And Krishna doesn't give a second. He just directly answers the question in the giving that Maya Veshya Mano Imam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddhaya Paropetas Tame Yukta Tomamataha. So he doesn't give a chance to Arjuna or people to think anything other than that. Krishna gives direct answer. Those who fix them. Krishna now, he doesn't play bridge preaching here. Krishna doesn't tell, oh, you are IIT students, you are NIT students, you are Americans, you are Hindu, Muslim, Christian. So I should not say that Krishna is supreme. I should not say that should be worshipped. No, 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 no. Krishna directly tells those who fix their minds on my personal form and always engage in worshipping me with great transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. So in order to be most perfect, so this is we have to fix our minds on personal form of Krishna and always engage in worshipping Krishna. We should have great transcendental faith, and in that way this is the way we can become perfect. So these are the three qualities required. One is fix our minds on personal form of the Krishna and always engage in Krishna service with full faith. So these are the things. See, Prabhupada writes, in this particular verse 12.2, it says that in answer to Arjuna's question, Krishna clearly says that he who concentrates upon his personal form and worships him with faith and devotion is to be considered the most perfect in yoga. So for one, in such Krishna consciousness, there are no material activities because everything is done for Krishna. A pure devotee is constantly engaged. Sometimes he chants, sometimes he hears, sometimes he reads books about Krishna, sometimes he cooks prasadam and goes to the marketplace to purchase something for Krishna. Or sometimes he washes the temple or dishes. Whatever he does not let a single moment without pass without devoting his activities to Krishna. Such action is in full samadhi. So this is what is explained. So this particular verses from 2nd chapter, 5th chapter establish the difference between what is meant by devotional service and what is it meant by worshipping the impersonal, unmanifested Brahman, impersonal Brahman. So these are the two differences. So one gives direct connection to Krishna, another gives indirect connection to Krishna. It's an indirect connection. So it's like this. So now it goes to karma prayasa. So I will not touch because this is about karma prayasa and it is again going to yoga prayasa. So today we will finish it off here, and if devotees have anything to ask, we can ask. Already we have discussed about this. That's why I didn't discuss, because we already discussed about this dhyana prayasa And I mentioned about, we also, Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentioned about this klesho dikataras tesham abhyakta satta chetasam abhyakta aikate dukkham deva. I can speak because there are some new devotees, but this
Hare
is
Krishna,
what.
Prabhuji.
Who is that? Who is speaking? Dinesh.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Here in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that one should meditate upon his personal form. And
Okay.
in one temporary class, I was heard in regarding to in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is regarding to creation of the world. The great yogis and sages, they meditate upon the form of the Lord. They imagine that he in the form of a dolphin and all the creation, and they meditate upon that form. So how can we
That
see
is
these two?
that. How can we see?
Uh,
See, the thing is that they are yogis. So yogis, that is Sushumara. That is Sishumara. That is, the dolphin is called as Sishumara. Sishumara is also the Supreme Lord. But see, like for example, depending on the level of level of the sages, certain instructions are being given. Why that particular sages have been told like that? Because they are in that particular level, want to meditate like that, so that particular demand is given here. Why? Because in this age of Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come. Chaitanya because Krishna's knowledge is very, very confidential. Still, how we are getting it? Because of the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is Krishna who came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why you're able to get Krishna. No other yuga has got this much mercy. Anarpita charin chirat karunaya vatirna kalau samarpaitum unnatojjvala rasamsa bhakti shriyam. Hari putata sundara Diti Sandarpa Sandipitaha Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratu va Sachinandana. As it is said in the when Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jive Daya Karo Swaparshada Swiyadham Saha Avatari Atyanta Durlabha Prem Koribare Dan Shikhaya Sharanagati Bhakatere Pran. So this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's contribution. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so much merciful that although we are not to the point of sages who meditate on the transcendental form of the Lord or who meditate on other various forms of the Lord, we are not that part because it requires a lot of this one. But still, even though we are so fallen, still Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says you just meditate directly on Krishna. So this is the mercy of the Lord. We may not understand, actually Shastra, when you read Shastras, you will only end up into Narayana worship. That's you will end up into Vishnu Bhakti. That's. But here, what by reading Acharya's literature, by reading through Acharya's literature, through Prabhupada, what we end up, that's why we end up into Krishna consciousness. We don't end up into Vishnu consciousness. It's not that we are trying to demean or lessen what Narayana or Krishna is, all that. Krishna is very rare to get. That is what we are trying to tell here. It's not so easy. No, Dvibhuja Muralidhara Shyama Sundara to get is not so easy. That we should understand. Although in many places in Bhagavatam it is said you meditate, like for example, Yajneshwara is worshipped, Yajnapati, he is being meditated. Haigriva I'm saying, Hiranyagarbha Vishnu, Dhruva meditated. So many forms of the Lord are meditated by so many people in Bhagavatam, but they are all pure devotees. But Krishna worship is exclusively for the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You're asking Bhagavatam why it is. That's also bona fide. But for now, what we don't do, meditate on Shishumara, we don't meditate on Hiranyagarbha Vishnu, we don't meditate on Garbhodaka Vishnu, we don't meditate on Ksira Dakshai Vishnu, we don't meditate on Karuna Dakshai Vishnu, we don't meditate on Vamana, we don't meditate on any of the avatars. We just meditate on Krishna. Actually, if you meditate on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also is fine. It is more than enough. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said meditate on Krishna. So Krishna, that's People cannot understand. By reading Bhagavatam, you don't end up into Krishna. Krishna will come later. But in the purports, every time it is said Krishna, Krishna, purports Krishna, Prabhupada is pushing Krishna. But in various places, only Vishnu or Narayana, 400 forms is there. How to understand this? So how to understand this? Unless and until Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there, you cannot understand it. This is the special prerogative, special thing. Do you understand?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Does anybody has any other? This particular thing is very, very important. They are sages who meditated on Shishumara. This non, it's transcendental downfall. Lord Himself takes that form. So it's, am I right or not?
Yes, Prabhuji. Even while
So
meditating on Sushmal also, their mind is focused on Supreme Personality of Godhead.
yeah. So the thing is that meditating on the transcendental dolphin and Krishna, there is no difference. But we don't do that because it requires a special thing, which requires special qualification. It is, you have to be brahmacharya. We don't know what level of sages were they. We can't understand because Kali Yuga, we are so fallen, downtrodden. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of causeless mercy, he has given Krishna to us. We have to just see the lotus feet of Krishna. Directly we see the flute of Krishna. Directly we see the lotus face of Krishna. We see the eyes of Krishna. We hear the holy name of Krishna. We hear the pastimes of Krishna. That's all. It becomes easy. It is more difficult to meditate on Vishnu. I should not tell this, but when I used to study, when I used to be in the college or anything, I used to go to temple every day. Every day I used to go to Vishnu temple because I used to stay in the PG hostel and I used to go to the temple nearby Balaji temple. I used to see the Lord from the lotus feet. Everything is all all the ornaments. Like for example, in the South India, they 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 decorate the Lord so nicely, And I used to love the Lord. I used to see the feet. I used to see the thighs. I used to see the lotus hands. I used to see the eyes. I used to see the crown. I used to see the whole decoration. And I used to come to the room and I used to meditate for 10-15 minutes every day. Until now, I remember I used to live in nearby my fortune was I used to live near Balaji temple, near Vishnu temple, somewhere or the other. And even in any place, even in Chennai, I was in Parthasarathi temple. I used to go to Parthasarathi temple. Parthasarathi temple has Parthasarathi has the mustache. He has the mustache. Krishna has mush. Krishna has the mustache. Mustache or mush? What they say, I don't know. Mustache, they say. So the thing is, uh, so I used to meditate on that. Uh, so it was so good. But the thing is, when we have Krishna consciousness now, we don't meditate on Balaji or Parthasarathi anything. We have Krishna directly. Vibhuji Murli, Shyam Sundar. That's why we hear the holy name. We put more emphasis on hearing the holy name. We put more emphasis on hearing. Shramanam Kirtanam is more important for us. Smaranam comes automatically, Prabhupada said. Smaranam comes by itself. Prabhupada said, remembrance comes by itself. So we should not unnecessarily, of course, as brahmacharis, we should always meditate on the eyes of the Lord. It is said, in order to get away from the lust of within the heart, we should always meditate on the eyes of the lotus eyes of the Lord. Prabhupada writes in the first canto of Bhagavad. So the point is that we should meditate on the eyes of the Lord. So the more than eyes is hearing the Lord, That's why early chanting, early rising, and early chanting is very, very important. That will make our life. It's the sattva guna. That's why we should wake up early in the morning. We should sleep early, and then chant all your rounds in the early hours as much as possible. So that will invigorate in you to hear the holy name, to be fixed in your mind. Okay. Any other question? I can stop here.
See, that also depends on Krishna only. Like we also cannot say that ultimately. Like Srila
What is
Prabhupada
that?
said that Srila Prabhupada said that a pure devotee does not even want Goloka Vrindavan. He said like that.
That is I think, but as a devotees, we should always aspire to go back home, back to Godhead. There's nothing wrong in thinking like that. But when we become so merciful, when Krishna will manifest in our heart, then we'll think, okay, we want to serve here itself. But Prabhupada used to always say we should all go back home, back to Godhead. If you see the old Hare Krishna videos, specifically you see the Australian. There is one Australian video. One Mataji, she will always say, "What is it in this world? There is nothing." She will wear a sari, and her parents are coming, and there is a video by taken. It's there on the YouTube. You can see many devotees. Actually, nowadays devotees don't speak much about going back home, back to Godhead.
Yeah.
But previously, I don't hear devotees say so much about going back home, back to God, back home, back to God, back home, back to God. I tell every time back home, back to God, back home, back to God. But if you see all the interviews of many devotees, if you see Happiness in Second Avenue, if you see the Hare Krishna, the Hare Krishna devotees, the joy, what is that? The You Are Our Well-Wisher, the Acharya series, everything. The devotees, every time they say that we want to go back home, back to God. This material world is temporary. We want to go back home, back to God. We want to go back every time. So there is nothing wrong in thinking that, oh, then later when we become matured in Krishna consciousness, then we can think, okay,
Yeah.
then. But now
Any planet
artificially,
we can stay.
that is another thing. First, we want to go back home, back to God. That is what I am trying to say. So we should always. So that the video is there, wherein that lady, that Mataji, is Prabhupada disciple. She came to me and she said that I am the Rasarani. Rasarani, yes, Rasarani Mataji, Prabhupada's disciple from Australia. She came and told I was that, and I recognized her, and I told, are you the same person who gave the interview in Australia? Huh? Hare Krishna. So I recognized her and I told, "Are you Rasarani Mataji?" Then I said, "Yes, I was in the black and white video, in Australian video." She says that there is nothing in this world. We are temporarily we are encased in this world. We want to go to Krishna. We want to go back home, back to Godhead. Nowadays, no devotees they don't tell outsiders. We belong to the spiritual world. Which preacher is telling you? Tell we belong to the spiritual world. Arre Baba, you tell any you take any. I don't want to name Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, English preachers. You name it, YouTube, all preachers. We want to go to the spiritual world. Spiritual world. Who is saying? Nobody is saying. They want to just figure it out, everything over here. If we would have told that we want to go to spiritual world, then we have to leave our job. They have to tell that the job is temporary, this everything is temporary, the school is temporary, the education is temporary, the marks are temporary, your grades are nonsense. This is all useless. They have to tell from where they can tell all these things. Arre, he is telling the job is for Krishna. You are telling the he is if you do your job very nicely, they are telling you. He is telling live in Hyderabad. One big preacher comes from somewhere and he is telling your job is for Krishna. But why you left it? Then why you left it? You became a brahmachari. Why you left? If job is for Krishna, salary is for Krishna. You want to live and lead a very brahmachari life, nicely sitting, eating in ghee in the temple, feeling nice AC air, all the 24, all the 25 directions. You want to feel very nice AC and then demand, you don't demand anything. You are very cutting nice profile of being a very humble. That's fine. But why you say job is for Krishna, then why you give up and you don't want to tell people that it is not for Krishna? It is slave. It is slavery. Why you don't say that? Because you lose money, you lose your name, fame, glory. If you tell once that you're all slaves of Bill Gates, you're all slaves of Elon Musk, you're all slaves. Actually, everybody is a slave who is working. You can't say this to everybody nowadays. Who is telling? Our aim is to go back to back to. This is all temporary. This is all useless. This job, this nothing will work out. Nobody tells. If you tell, people will leave the association. अरे प्रभु जी आप ऐसा क्यों बोलते हैं? अरे प्रभु जी, oh, you should be a little bit mild. You should think of everybody. Whom I should think of? I should think of Krishna or I should think of everybody. So this is what is going on. Anyhow, so we will start from here. What is karma prayasa? Notvadayati tatim shramai vaikya. Until then, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We'll meet tomorrow, Krishna willing. Hope I didn't disturb anybody. Thank you very much. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhyadev cha patitanam pavanebhyo अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जाय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाय, श्रील भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जाय, भक्ति विकास महाराज की जाय. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण. धन्यवाद. प्रणाम.